Pawn to d4, knight to f6, standard opening moves. White claims central space, and black develops a knight to control the center.
c4, pawn to e6, white supports the center, and black prepares to develop the bishop and potentially castle. Knight to f3, pawn to d5, white develops a knight to further control the center, and black challenges the center with d5. Knight to c3, pawn captures on c4, white develops another knight, and black captures the pawn on c4, temporarily winning a pawn but giving up central control. This move by black gives up central control. An alternative could be to play b7 or c6 to support the center, bishop to g5, bishop to b4, height claims central space, and black develops a knight to control the center. White pins the knight on f6, and black develops a bishop, pinning the knight on c3. Pawn to e4. Pawn to c5, white attacks the center with a pawn, and black supports the pawn on c4. Pawn to e5, pawn captures on d4, white advances the pawn, attacking the knight, and black captures another pawn in the center. Knight captures on d4, queen to a5, white recaptures with the knight, and black develops the queen to a5, putting pressure on the knight on c3 and the pawn on e5. Pawn captures on f6, bishop captures on c3 with check, white captures on f6, opening lines, and black captures on c3 with check, initiating exchanges. White opens lines for attack but loses control of the e5 square. An alternative could be to play f4 to support the pawn on e5. Pawn captures on c3, queen captures on g5, white recaptures with the pawn, and black captures the g5 bishop, centralizing the queen. An alternative could be to develop another piece like bd3 or bd2. Pawn to g7 captures pawn, queen captures on g7. Queen to d2, knight to c6. White develops the queen, and black develops the knight, aiming to control key squares. Developing the queen is good, but focusing on completing development with moves like b2 or oo might be stronger. Knight captures on c6, pawn captures on c6, white captures the knight, and black recaptures with the pawn, maintaining material balance but doubling pawns. Bishop to c4, queen to e5 with check, white develops the bishop, and black checks the king with the queen. King to f1, black castles kingside, white moves the king to f1, and black castles, securing the king and connecting the rooks. Pawn to h4, queen to c5, white pushes the h-pawn, aiming for a pawn storm, and black moves the queen to c5, centralizing it. Pawn to e2, pawn to e5, white develops the e2 pawn, and black advances the e5 pawn, controlling the center. Queen to g5 with check, king to h8, white checks with the queen, and black moves the king to h8. Queen to f6 with check, king to g8, white checks again with the queen, and black moves the king to g8. Pawn to h5, rook to e8, white advances the h-pawn, and black develops the rook to e8, aiming to contest the e-file. Pawn to h6, queen to f8, white pushes the h-pawn again, and black moves the queen to f8, defending. Rook to h5, and black resigns. Overall, the game featured an aggressive play by white with pawn pushes, and an attempt to create an attack on the black king. Black responded with solid development and exchanges, leading to a balanced but complex middle game.
Thank you. Please like and follow for more such content.